Hello, and welcome to today's webinar on data privacy notices. My name's Mike Kibbard, and I'll be talking to you today about the information that you need to be putting into a privacy notice, why you're required to give a privacy notice, and how you can comply with your obligations under the UK GDPR. So the topics we're going to cover today. First, we're going to look at the key definitions under the UK GDPR, because you can't understand your obligations without first going back to basics on data privacy and what the various definitions are you have to comply with. After that, we'll look at privacy notices and give a brief overview of what is required under a privacy notice and why you need to provide them. And then we'll go into a bit of detail about how to comply with all your obligations relating to them. First, we'll look at what you need to include in a privacy notice, both when you are taking data from the data subject themselves and when you are collecting it from a third party. We'll then look at some of the mechanics of how you provide privacy notices, so when you provide them and what method to look at. Under a privacy notice, you have to also outline the right to object to processing, and we'll go into that later in the session. So we'll have a quick overview of that later on today. And then we'll look at what happens if you don't meet your obligations and why this all matters. So we'll look at a couple of ICO examples, the Information Commissioner Office, of action that they've taken in relation to privacy notices. And then we'll conclude today with some top tips for you to take home to ensure that your organisation is compliant. So first, we'll look at some key definitions and an overview of what we're talking about today. So throughout this session, I'm going to be talking about the UK GDPR. As you may be aware,